Hello, welcome to Mike's Mats Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Pashota. Happy Wednesday to you. And the reason why we are recording today is because it was just announced that the New York Mets are about to sign, or reportedly have signed, a one-year contract with Major League starting pitcher Luis Severino. Luis Severino coming over to the Mets after, 8 years? Thereabouts, with our crosstown rivals, the New York Yankees. During that time, Severino went 54-37 with 3.79 ERA. He was a two-time All-Star. He finished as high as third in the Cy Young voting. That was back in 2017. The injury history, not very kind to Severino. He has missed a significant amount of time, and last year was not good. Let's say that. And if we're going by like the Mets starting pitching for the last year, which was not good, and there was a fair amount of blame to go around to a lot of the Mets starting pitchers. So we're dealing with some less than brilliant talent already, but with the exception of Kodai Senga, of course, and Jose Quintana. So Severino comes over. He went 4-8 last year. He had a 6.65 ERA in 19 appearances, 18 starts. He had only 79 strikeouts against 89 in the third innings pitched. And his strikeout rate had dipped down to 8.0. That is the worst of his career. The walk rate, not great either, 3.4 walks per 9 innings, and was just getting really killed. 2.3 home runs per 9 innings pitched. That's insane. He had 23 home runs allowed. This is really all to say that this is going to be an uphill projects for the Mets. Luis Severino is not coming his best, and that's why he's coming in on a relatively easy contract. Mets are kind of hoping for a rehabilitation situation, if anything. So he comes over on a 1-year, $13 million contract, relatively light. I think had he had a better season last year, using free agency and probably going into this great year, not so much. So he could have made a lot of money had he had a great year. But what we're left with is a pitcher who's going to be a reclamation project. And we'll see if Jeremy Hefner has it in him to kind of rehabilitate this starting pitcher. The good thing is, and I'll say this, Severino, only just about to turn 30. He'll turn 30 next February. So they're getting a guy who's relatively in his prime. This is, he's saying free agency at 30 years old, so or 29 really. So they're getting a pitcher who is at least young. It's just a matter of what does Severino really have left at this point. And the injuries have certainly taken their toll on his career. He is no longer this bright, shining star. And for many Yankee fans, I know for a fact, they viewed Severino as like the future ace of the staff. He was this, young superstar who was like at 23 years old, already looking like a potential Cy Young winner down the stretch. Had seasons in 2017, 2018. That was really his peak, 2017, 2018, where he went back-to-back seasons. Struck out more 220 batters or more, and was recording great numbers, really strong strikeout per walk ratios over that period of time. There's no doubt Severino was a great pitcher at one point. There's just the lingering question of as to what exactly can Severino do at this stage in his career, and it's going to be up to him to show it off. I was encouraged by the signing, even if Severino does not have a great track record as of recently. He is undoubtedly a guy who has talent if he comes in healthy, and Mets are making that gamble that he can be healthy and effective for them. It's really just a question of what Severino are they going to get, and you slot him into a rotation with Senga clearly at the top right now. We'll see if that's the case going forward, but Kodai Senga should be the opening day starter for what we know now is the Mets starting rotation. And then you have Jose Quintana, and then you're going to slot in guys who it might be David Peterson, Tyler McGill, any number of collection of the Mets starting pitchers here. But you slot in Severino, I think, really at the number 3 spot right there, and I think that's probably the correct position for him right now. We will see if the Mets hopefully do sign any additional players or make any kind of trades. Bringing him in does increase the pedigree. I mean, Severino did pitch more in a few games in like major situations, playoff races and such, and also does have postseason experience. Not all of it good. In fact, all of it was pretty bad. I'm going to say Severino does not have a great track record in the postseason. 5 points. What is this? Yeah, ERA over 5 in the postseason, so not very good. But he's has at least the experience. I'll say that. I mean, like, if the Mets are looking at him as a potential piece for a playoff rotation, which I'm not saying the Mets are going to make the playoffs next year, but one can dream. He is a guy who has been there before, and even if it hasn't been particularly successful, I would rather take somebody who has had experience, not all the good, over no experience. That's generally a better situation. So, what do we want to see from this? Well, it's an encouraging sign. I really just can't say anything more than that because Severino's coming off a bad year. He's coming off the worst season of his career. He's been dealing with injuries left and right, and now he's moving, fortunately, not very far from his previous team. He's going just a borough over, but it's still. It's going to be a shift in experience. I think probably this could work out for him. Citi Field nowhere near the Hitters Park that Yankee Stadium is, so that may potentially help him. But really, that the home runs allowed was pretty shocking to see, and he really just had no way of keeping that ball in the ballpark. He was probably one of the principal weapons for the Yankees' own destruction last year. I mean, if the Mets imploded badly, the Yankees were really just a step behind them just in terms of implosion. That was pretty bad to see, and Severino did not help things. So you're kind of like, is this a good signing? Maybe not. Remains to be seen. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say that Severino comes back healthy and has kind of a bounce back season, and maybe the Mets can work something out with him for an extension. Probably we're going to see Severino probably miss some time again next year. So you've probably bought maybe a starting pitcher that's only going to be good for maybe 15, 20 games or 15, 20 starts, depending on how they use him. So remains to be seen. It's going to be an interesting weapon for the Mets. They have a new manager, now a new starting pitcher they add to the mix. We'll see how it goes. I really can't say anything more than that other than say that it's a situation that could get better. I do feel encouraged by it, but I'm kind of holding my breath for what's going to happen next with Severino. But for a first step in the Mets front office move this year under David Stearns, this the first big signing. Well, not big signing, but it's a signing. It's a noteworthy signing for the Mets. This is a good step forward, and hopefully a good first step of what should be, I hope, a good off season for the Mets. And you're gonna be getting it all here. I'm doing these as soon as these breaking news situations are coming up for me. I'm jumping on my laptop and I'm recording, so I'm trying to get these out as fast as possible, just so I can have up to date information. And as of yet, we don't have anything else to say about the Severino signing other than that. It appears that everything looks good for the contract, and if I was going to grade it, I'd grade it probably like a B-. Like it's relatively low risk. It's $13 million. It's money that it's just a 1-year deal. There's relatively like low risk for this move. So I think it's a solid move forward. We'll see if it's a really effective move. Hopefully it is, but. If nothing else, it's a sign that the Mets are not standing pat, and they are going to be going out and acquiring assets. And I mean, either through signs or trades, however they're going to do it, they need to really bolster that starting rotation, which was it's a big disappointment last year. They got better in the second half, but was pretty bad in the first half, and really did not help things for the Mets. A lot of problems for that team really kind of stemmed from the starting rotation, which did not play its best ball. But we're hoping for better things in 2024. Thank you for listening to the Mike's Mets podcast. Please be sure to follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Finally, please also follow the podcast Twitter, which is Mike's Mets Pod, all one word. Appreciate your time and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Let's go, Mets.